Hello guys, I am Karold and today I am starting a new series called Python with me. So in this series, we are gonna learn and discover Python starting from the basics. But before we start, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and of course, like my Facebook page at facebook.com/coloredproductions.
Okay guys, so welcome back to PYTH with me. So we're already now on our part 7 and today we'll be focusing on functions. So let us now proceed to our part 1. So our part 1 will be a leap year, writing your own functions. So okay. So our objectives is to become familiarized in projecting and writing parameterized functions, utilizing return statement and testing the functions. So our scenario is our task is to write and test a function which takes one argument a year and returns true if the year is a leap year or false otherwise. The seed of the function is already shown in the skeleton code in the editor. So okay. So let us try to see the given test data and the test results that they have given us. So okay, so the test data, we have 4 years, and the test results, of course, we have also 4 here. So they we have 1900, 2000, 2016, and 1987. So false will indicate as a non-leap year, and true will indicate as a leap year. So basically, we'll just have to check if the test data and the test results are true. If it's true, then it will print okay, and then if it's not, it will print failed. So basically, we will just have to prove that the test data and the test results are true or false. Okay. So the question is, how do we know if a year is a leap year or not? So the first thing that you need to know to determine if the year is a leap year or not is to check if the year is divisible by 4. If the year is evenly divisible by 4, then it is likely a leap year. Then another one is confirm that the number isn't divisible by 100. If a year is evenly divisible by 4 but it is not evenly divisible by 100, then it is a leap year. Then another one is to check if the number is evenly divisible by 400 to confirm a leap year. If a leap year is divisible by 100 but not 400, then it is not a leap year. So for example, here we have 1900. So 1900 is divisible by 100 and it is not divisible by 400, so it is not a leap year. So we have here 1900 is false, so this must be okay or true. And then 2000, the year 2000 is divisible by 100, but it is and it is also divisible by 400, so 2000 is a leap year. So let's try putting our code here. Let's try putting if year is not divisible by 4, so then return false. Then if year is not divisible by 100, then return true. Then if year is not divisible by 400, then return false. Okay, just adjust this one. And then else return true. Okay, so we must just remember to not forget the capitalization of the true and the false, and of course the colons, and then the return, and the if, elif, and the else. So let us try running the code. So I'm expecting that this must be all okay. Okay, we got 4 okays here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means that our code is correct. So we can now proceed to the part 2 of our video. Okay guys, so for our part 2, our scenario is to write and test a function which takes 2 arguments, a year and a month, and returns the number of days for the given month and year pair. While only February is sensitive to the year value, your function should be universal. The initial part of the function is ready. Now convince the function to return none if its arguments don't make sense. So as you can see, we have already the testing code, so we just have to expand it. So okay, this is our test code. So we can reuse our code from the previous example. So let me just copy our code real quick. Copy. Okay, then I'll just paste it here. Then here we're gonna put days in month, year, and month. So we're gonna put if year is less than 1582 or month is less than 1 or month. Okay, I have a mistake here. It's greater than 12. Then don't forget the colon. Then return none. Then put a list here, which is a list variable. Gonna put 31, 31, 28, 31, 30, 31, 30, 31, 30, 31, 31, 30, 31, 30, and 31. Okay, so and then we're gonna put res. Oh, mistake. Gonna put res equal to days, then month minus 1, and then that's it. And then if month is equal to 2 and is year leap or year, then res equal to 29, then return res. So I think that's the code for our second part. So let me just remind you to not forget the colons, the spacings, the capitalization of the true or false, the true and false, and then of course I told you the colons. I forgot to put a colon here. So I think this is good enough. So we are expecting the result to be all okay again, just like the previous example. So let's try running this. And that's it. We have already a 4 okay. So that means that our code is good enough or it is correct. Okay, we can now proceed to the part 3 of our video. Okay guys, so for our part 3, our scenario is, our task is to write and test a function which takes 3 arguments, a year, a month, and a day of the month, and returns the corresponding day of the year, or returns none if any of the arguments is invalid. So as you can see here, I'll show you the test code. And so as you can see, we can reuse the codes from the part 1 and the part 2 of our video. So let me just copy our codes again from our part 1 here. This will be our code for the part 1, and then this will be for the part 2. Okay, so we will be just focusing on day of year. So I'm just gonna put a variable here, days is equal to 0, and then for m in range 1 month, then don't forget the colon, then md is equal to days in month, year, m, then if md is equal to none, then colon, don't forget the colon, then return none, then days plus equal, or it must be true if days is equal to md. Then I'm just gonna put another one here, days in month, year, month. Then if day 1 and day is less than md, then the colon, of course, and then return days plus day, and then else return none. So let us check if there are typos here. So I think there are none here. So colons, for the colons, I think, and for these codes, I think these are true because I just copy pasted this from the past codes from example 1 and example 2 of this video. So let's focus here. So for m in range, there are colons. Okay, so let us try to run this code. So the result of this code must be 366. So let's try. Okay, so we got the result 366 here. So that means that the codes from part 1 to part 3 are correct. So my observations for this code from part 1 to part 3 is that we must always observe that the typos are always the typos in Python must always be avoided because it will result in an error. And of course the colons, and of course, for example, in using if and elif, of course, you must always put it in the right place. So if you don't know how to use if and elif function or else, then you can always rewatch my videos from part 1 to part 6 so you can be more familiarized with it. So I think this will be for the part 7 of our video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and that's it. Thank you guys.